Is really one where we're getting a lot of feedback from prior symposiums and people telling us they want to hear more about it, and that's in the realm of social media. I just came back from a brand new seminar that's going around the country with a few folks and Mr. Jeffrey Gittimer himself, but he was a small part of it, on social media and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all those things. And out of all those, obviously LinkedIn is the one that is the professional networking social media, and that's what we're going to hear a lot about today, but some general social media do's and don'ts. Our next speaker is Kari Zavolta. She's Director of Sales and Marketing for the Regional Learning Alliance, a learning and conference center in Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania, known as the RLA. It's the nation's largest collaborative campus with 12 academic members. You could start a football conference, couldn't you, Kari? In addition, the RLA serves as meeting and conference space for some of Pittsburgh's top companies. In her role, Kari is responsible for the advertising, marketing, and branding of the RLA, so hopefully you were listening to Chris with all that stuff you have going on. Over the last 2 years, she's been integrating social media into their marketing at the RLA in their mix with the use of LinkedIn and Facebook, so we've got someone here today that's been in the middle of it and can give us some of those pitfalls and things to watch out for as well as good things to do. She's done extensive research into social media for marketing business and does a lot of lectures and speaking like she will today on the best practices. Her other responsibilities include supervising the sales team. That one's fun, isn't it? Planning sales objectives for the facility and participating in the strategic plan for the RLA. She has her undergraduate degree in public relations from Slippery Rock. Any other Slippery Rock folks here today, or is Kari the only one? And is currently seeking her master's degree in integrated marketing communications from West Virginia University. See, if you put West Virginia University at the end of your write-up, I'll read the whole thing to get to that. Please welcome, from the Regional Learning Alliance, Director of Sales and Marketing, Kari Zavolta. Kari?
Thank you, Mike. Unfortunately, I'm a Pitt fan.
Please disregard anything she has to say today.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm really glad to be here and talk a little bit about LinkedIn. Before we get started, I always like to take a poll of the audience to see, because this is such a wide topic. First and foremost, how many people here have a LinkedIn account? Okay, most hands. Of those people who have a LinkedIn account, how many of yourselves consider yourself proficient at it? A lot less hands, which is typically the case. And last but not least, how many of you think that this half-hour presentation is going to make you proficient at LinkedIn? It's not. I am going to try my best to go through some of the best practices, some of the do's and don'ts, but the big thing to take away is that you really need to spend time. You need to carve out some time to go through these items yourself and really see how they work for you. Not everything that I say today is going to work for every person in this room. We all have varied types of jobs. We all have varied responsibilities. So take with you what will work and what you do have time to manage, and then save the rest for later, for a rainy day or something along those lines. The other reason why I can't make you proficient in a half hour is things change so quickly. My favorite story is we just recently hired a new marketing assistant who's fresh out of college. And we compared my freshman year of college to her freshman year of college. My freshman year of college, television had about 30 channels. Hers has 200, 300 plus. My freshman year, there was one girl with one computer on the floor, and girls lined up to play Minesweeper on that computer. Now every girl has a computer, laptop, or both in some cases. There was no internet, electronic mail, if you've ever seen that Intel commercial where they're like, I'm sending electronic mail. That was my freshman year. Hers, electronic mail, email has gone way beyond. Cell phones, not at all. And now they're smartphones. So it really shows you, while there is a big gap between my freshman year and hers, so much changes, and it changes so quickly now that technology is so advanced that that's another reason why. You just need to keep going with what I talk about here and make it your own from there. So before we get started specifically into LinkedIn, I'm going to talk about the 4 pillars of social media strategy. This is from the Social Media Bible. It's a great resource available at any bookstore if you are so inclined to go read it. And they talk about, before getting into your social media, is becoming familiar with how it works and also creating a strategy. So the first pillar is going to be communication. And for communication, what you want to do, you want to think about how you currently network, how you currently talk to people, how you currently promote your business. And then you want to take that and try to use the same tone when you're doing things online. Obviously, it's probably going to be a little bit more casual online than in like a printed document or something like that. But it's really important that you don't completely abandon your business tone and the way that you're used to speaking to people once you go online, especially with LinkedIn, because it is the business model of online social media. The next is going to be collaboration, and you're going to hear me talk about this throughout the presentation. And what that is that you want to ask questions, you want to answer questions, you want to solicit feedback. You don't want to necessarily be selling. Not yourself, not your business. That's not the nature of online communication. Online communication is about collaboration, and if you are in a traditional sales role, you really have to find that way to kind of dial back the want and the need to say, here's all about me, me, me. And Chad talked about it a little bit as well, is that it's more about them, them, them. You want to ask questions. If somebody asks a question that you have a good answer to, you want to answer that question. You want to foster a really great reputation with collaboration online. The next one is going to be education, and that goes right in with collaboration. Again, back to the not selling. You want to be educating people to you and to your organization without talking about prices or brands or any of those types of things. The way that you can do that, an easy way that you can do that, and I'll use a YouTube example. There's a gentleman on YouTube called Big Tony the Plumber. And Big Tony the Plumber tapes himself doing small household plumbing repairs that you can watch. So if you have a leaky faucet or if you have something along those lines, you can watch Big Tony on YouTube, and you may get the knowledge that you need to be able to fix your small plumbing problem. But for those people who probably live in Big Tony's area, who do you think that they maybe call whenever they have a big plumbing problem? Now, he never promotes his business. He never talks about his services that he offers. It's just strictly educational, but it's a way that he can promote his business by just being an educational source for folks out on the web. A really, really great example. And the last one is entertainment. With LinkedIn, this is a little tricky, and I will say that you don't have to use all 4 pillars for all of your strategies, but it's important for it to be here because when you go from LinkedIn into the other social media platforms, entertainment does become very important. My favorite example of entertainment out there is also a YouTube channel, and it's called Will It Blend? And there is a gentleman out west somewhere who sells $400 blenders. And these blenders will blend anything. And he shows you that they will blend anything by his YouTube channel, Will It Blend? He stands there in a lab coat, puts things like iPhones and golf balls and crazy, crazy things into his blender. And, you know, obviously the title tells itself. Hits the blend, does it blend? It does, by the way. It will blend an iPhone to dust. It's unbelievable. But he never talks about how much his blender costs. He never talks about where you can buy his blender. He never talks about anything. Just in the background is a logo for his company. That's it. That's it. So entertainment that then turns into sales and conversions using online social media. So for LinkedIn, not quite as appropriate, and we'll get into that. We'll get into some of the best practices, but still very important as you move from LinkedIn into other social media platforms. And then if you look at all of these, they all equal audience engagement. And that's really your main goal when you're online, is audience engagement. You have to get that selling out of your mind. I can't say it enough. You will not get good responses online if it is a veiled attempt to sell your products. So that's a really great, and to sell yourself for that matter too. So those are the 4 pillars, and I'll probably mention them as we go through. And we're going to go through. And I hope you can see this in the back. If not, hopefully you can at least these are screenshots from LinkedIn. So that for those who have never been on, will get a sense of how it looks and how it functions. For those that are on, they'll know where I'm talking about, where these different items are. So very first thing when you come into LinkedIn, and this is my homepage, so if you're my connection on LinkedIn, you may show up in this presentation.